Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, here with Sturge. We got an exciting week, exciting videos we're gonna do. We gotta talk GameStop. I know we already are seeing some feedback. People are like, wait, Sturge, investment banking. Like, what do you think about GameStop, AMC? So we're gonna get his insight. I know just as an expert, we're gonna get some good laughs, some good insight there, and then we'll do a deeper dive into the company as kind of a part two. But first things first, Sturge, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you? It's good to be here.
I'm good. I'm good. No complaints. Crazy week. So, look, I'm just gonna throw it to you. I mean, what can you even say about GameStop right now? I mean, from a really $5 almost, a few weeks ago to hit 500 today. We're recording on the 28th. To give people some insight, wow.
Yeah. I guess the first thought that comes to mind is I should probably find some friends on Reddit. But it's just absolutely remarkable. I think the thing that jumps out at me the most is I mentioned this earlier when we were just chatting. Is the ethos underlying it. It feels like like a populist movement inside of the capital markets. It's pretty fascinating just from a fundamental perspective. The volatility of it. I'm not even going to try to play that game. I have my head down, focused on what we're doing. but man, it is fascinating to watch unfold. I got to say.
Yeah. Oh, give me some more, like from an investment banker's standpoint. And I know a lot of people share this standpoint of it's amazing, but terrifying at the same kind of breath. Give me some insight from the like investment banker part, like inside of you. That's like, whoa, like this is crazy. Do you see it as, hey, maybe shorters, this is kind of, some people are saying, is this a wake-up call, or is this just, wow, this is crazy, once in what people are calling a 3 lifetime experience? We're seeing it happen on GameStop.
Well, I think that it's actually less of an investment banking perspective and more of more of the kind of closet historian in me. I mean, I think that if you take a step back and you put this in the broader context of everything over the last 10 or 20 years, particularly the last 10 years, right, with the rise of social media, the market, what it's doing with all of this is the front end of the story. The back end of the story is the democratization process that we've seen from the advent of social media and what kind of threat that poses in a lot of ways to kind of the entrenched establishment thinking across the whole spectrum, financial, political, economic, political, what have you. And so I think in the broader context, there's no analysis to do here, to a large extent. So it's really more understanding the fundamentals of it. And I think, what you're seeing here is the beginnings of, a real confrontation with the reality that there is a minority and a majority, and the majority can actually really work the market in ways that people never thought imagined possible. And a lot of what enables that is the technology, right? And so here you go. It's an extension of those platforms in ways that we really haven't seen before. But I think it's a precedent. You can't put this genie back in the bottle. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, incredible. And I know even, me, I'm having friends, family that have never bought a stock in their life asking if they should buy GameStop, AMC, this type of stuff. Would love not that we're giving investment advice, but maybe just advice to a newer investor. Is there anything you would say, for someone that's buying a GameStop, the first share they're buying at $200? Is there any advice you would give them? And of course, who knows what would happen? We've both talked even before I hit record. Like $500 today, down to 120, back to 500, down to 200.
Talk to the Bitcoin guys, right? I mean, like that's kind of what it's been like in the last couple of years with that. The issue, if we're really going to think about it from an investment framework, I mean, the issue is it's not really I take that back. I was about to say it's not really a market. Maybe this is actually the first time that it truly is, in some ways, kind of counterintuitively, because you really have, kind of almost this, decoupled or unleashed power from just a different place in the market that you wouldn't have seen it coming. But I think, if you're talking about looking at the space and do I participate in this, it always comes down to the same fundamental principle, which is what's your risk threshold and what's your time horizon. And, like I said, I wouldn't jump into this because it's not fundamentally driven. It's ultimately engineered. It's engineered for interesting reasons. And I think there's still a lot of, reaction left in the equation to even see what happens next. So my view is don't jump into water where you can't see the bottom. And, it's pretty opaque and murky at this point and really volatile. If you're looking for a return that's beyond just, the opportunistic, kind of extraordinary opportunistic moment we're in, then you still go back to the fundamentals and you look for real growth. So, do you want to play in this game? I don't know. You better be equipped to, because it's obviously moving very quickly.
Yeah. I was seeing some comments. Just love to get your insight on them. Some people are saying if you're getting into GameStop now, it's as a trade, not as a long-term strategy. Still keep in mind.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's,
and look, people are making a lot of money off of that. I mean, you can do it, but like any kind of frothy, dynamic moment, there is the possibility that you're the one holding the wrong print when the music stops. So I don't personally, I wouldn't play that, but it is tempting. And if you know what you're doing in the market, then you can probably carve out a pretty interesting return here.
yeah.
If you don't, I would say stay away from it because following is not the way to play an episode like this.
Yeah.
I think.
No, agree. I think personally, I feel like I missed the wave. I'm just watching. But here, I got another question, and then we'll move on to some more business related stuff. But here, someone says, and they're curious. A lot of people asking, GameStop was 140% of their float was shorted. Do you look at that as like, hey, maybe this is a rule going forward? Stocks that are super over shorted, beware of what could happen. Do you think that's a trend forming?
Yes, I do. I think, like I said, I don't think you're putting this genie back in the bottle. I think, once the perspective has changed, it's changed permanently. And you're also looking at the rise of a whole new generation of investors and players in the market. That's why it originated where it did. So, and then I go back to what is the reaction to this going to be? We haven't even seen that played out. We've seen, kind of the Wall Street, kind of forward-facing front of this make the comments you would expect them to make. But believe me, this is going to end up, somewhere politically too down the road. I think.
Yeah,
it's made too much. It's registered too much on the Richter scale.
Agree. When you're having everyone from influencers to athletes to you name it tweeting about GameStop, it's definitely shaking some shaking some trees. But hey, I think this was an awesome insight. Anything else you want to say about GameStop or really the AMC type trend that we're seeing right now before we move on?
Well, if you're in it now, you haven't lost until you sold.
See. Also true. You only make money when you sell.